Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is November 3rd, daylight savings time. For some of you, you may have been waiting an extra hour for this. I don't know. All I know is I set my clocks back about 9 o'clock at night and then sort of get ready for the next morning. So we have a lot to talk about today. So sit down, buckle up. We've got some stuff to go through. And the title of this is The Big Flash. Now, I understand that that's going to bring up some energy and some emotion, but let's just sort of see what's going on with all of this, right? So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here and watching this. So, first and foremost, we had just steady M class flares all week long, starting with last Sunday. They went M2, M4, M7, and then on the 31st, it just sort of went right straight up to NX2 again. So we had MMM, which if you've been following my videos, you know that those are sort of those tower moments where we just keep shaking. We shake, we shake, we shake. We're trying to get some of this rubble, some of this darkness, some of this crap off of us. And when an X2 comes, we open up and we can feel the relief. We can feel the energy, the imagination. We can feel the Aquarius sort of invitation of what's coming. So that's what's happened this week on the solar flare front. It's been a little bumpy, and it's been bumpy because there's a lot of emotions going. There's a lot of fear and trepidation. There's a lot of finger pointing, especially here in the US, right? So there's this constant energy that's sort of poking at things that are hidden, things that are secretive, things that are really horrible to say about other human beings, darkness, right? So, and what we're noticing is that when these tower moments come, what they're shaking off of us, and I love this card. This is the Justice card in the Ooso deck. What happens is that it sort of takes all of our wounds and our betrayals and our stories and our family lineage, and our job is to just keep blowing this shit off of our body, right? Our prejudices, our hatreds, so that we can sort of see ourselves flip-flopping between, like having all of this stuff wrapped around us to blowing it off, to getting back down into like, this is my belief system. I've always voted this way. I've always thought this way. This is what my family, my religion, my culture has expected me to be, right? And we're having this flip-flop. It goes flip-flop, back and forth, back and forth. And then what I'm noticing is that it's almost kind of glitchy. Like we start getting caught up in some of the hate speech or watching the videos of who said this about somebody, and it's sort of glitchy. It doesn't really resonate with us. It doesn't really help. And when I think glitchy, I think of like, what's it like when you have a computer that's getting old and you don't really want to buy a new one yet? You can't afford one, or you don't want to go through the technology upgrade, but you just keep dealing with the old stuff. And I think that that's where we're at, is that we have this reminder constantly that there are some older things that we need to take care of. We need to do differently. So, over the last year, we've identified that the energetic levels of these flares, the way that the C's come in, the way the M's come in, the way the X class comes in, that they shift us. And we've been talking about how the electromagnetic storms, how the energy that pummels onto Earth really does rock us internally, and it brings light to our cellular system. It also rocks us physically by bringing up places where there's density, where there's stored pain. So that might be in our digestion, that might be in our thinking patterns, in our headaches. It might be in our inability to work with other frequencies in our ears. And so these physical symptoms are showing us where there's darkness, where there's, I don't know if I like the word darkness, think of density, think of dust. The corners, like, you can dust really easy, but then, there's those corners, or it's layered on the pieces that you picked up, and it's time to sort of blow that off, right? Just time to blow it off. And what we've done for weeks now or months is that I've been bringing in the cosmos, the astrological part of it, because I think it's really important to keep working with what's going on. And you are all familiar by now, especially those who've been watching. And if you are new to this channel, this is the path that Pluto's been taking as it's gone retrograde at 29 degrees. So what we talked about last week was that from September 1st to September 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, depending on what part of the world you're in, we were in this Virgo energy of going into the physical, sort of clearing out debris of Pluto in Capricorn. And that Virgo's the organizer there, the doer. It was like, this, I got to do something. And then we shifted into, in this line here, down into where it turned around and went direct back up into Libra, right? And some of this is redundant, but Libra is the balancer, and Libra is also the hider. Libra is the one who wants everybody to think that everything's beautiful and perfect when maybe it isn't. So Libra can hide. And it's, I like the word veneer, and we talked about this too, that it's sort of like, I'm going to put a really good picture on the outside so you don't know what kind of chaos is going on behind me, right? Okay. Now, right in about here, we shifted into 22nd, 23rd of of October into Scorpio, which is going to take us all the way through to Pluto in Aquarius. So we're still in Scorpio. And if you know anything about Scorpio, they're the observer. They're the detective of falsehoods. They're the ones who are looking for things that are wrong. Okay? Because Scorpio's the sign of trust versus betrayal. So if you really hold those two in your hand, I trust or I believe in betrayal. And so you've got this image of the death card in this is the Crowley deck, right? And this is the death card, which represents Pluto in Scorpio, or the Scorpio sign, right? And so what's happening is that they're like, I don't trust this, or I trust this enough to cut this off and to let it go free. So trust and betrayal. It's Scorpio's the most sensitive sign, and it's visceral, it's cellular, it's connected to our nervous system, kind of like Cancer is, right? And it's where we build this web of energy of like, well, I felt something over there. I don't know if I trust that. And so their first word is always going to be, I can't trust, because I've been hurt. I've been betrayed. I come in this life knowing that betrayal, and we're in some sort of a controlled matrix, and I don't trust anything. So their eyes are big, and they're always connecting the dots to things, right? So when we look at energetic awareness and our sensitivities, they're going to be aroused, they're going to be up, and we're going to be picking up on all of this stuff. So let's just say our spidey sense during Scorpio season is going, do I trust this or do I not trust this? And am I going to be betrayed? Are they going to lie to us again or not? Right? Because we have hypersensitive triggers, and we're looking for those triggers to determine mistrust. That's the energetics of the cosmos, plus the solar flares bringing up all this stirring in us. And we have this thing, kind of coming in, which we'll talk about in a bit, which is the election on November 5th, right here in the United States. So Scorpio collects and observes and notices information when it's off, right? The lies, the hidden agendas, the areas of distrust, where we're being lied to, where we feel manipulated, and where things are not congruent, like, I thought I was coming here to do this, and now that you have another agenda. So they're distrust flares, right? So where we're seeing this, where we're feeling it, is that the lies and the layers and the secrets are coming to the surface. So this guy's taking off all the conditioning and sort of kind of going like, I am going to be the human being I'm here to be. Pluto, this is Capricorn, right? And this is Pluto cutting away all of that. It's because there's things that as they come to the surface, it might look like personal, like your money, your alcohol or drug use, or your addictions, your dissatisfaction with yourself, your body, your kids, your partner, anything, right? Professionally, it might be imbalances in power. It might be manipulations in whose salaries are higher for the same job or even doing less. There's going to be projects and directions that your work takes that you're kind of like, I don't know if I can hold on to this anymore. And globally, when we're seeing is the control of our economy, right? We're seeing the control of our economy and our politics and our systems. And what we're also working with is that we're throwing off the slave energy. We're slowing, I can't talk right now. We're throwing off this slave energy that's been held in place by the patriarchal culture, by the archons, by the military industrial complex. What we're witnessing now is the beginning of all of this starting to crumble off so that we can be a much brighter human being, human culture. Does that make sense? So when we're talking about having a crescendo coming up, it's been building, and Pluto's been sort of taking us down through all of the physicality of the last 240 years and bringing us up through it. And now we're in this uncomfortable spot where we have Scorpio just showing us where we have areas to address, things we have to work on, right? Things that we have to come to terms with. So this is one of my biggest videos. I've been working on this for like a week. Well, I've been preparing for this for months, but sort of putting it together to say, what do I want to say to you? How do I want to say this? Because what we want to do is we want to shift ourselves out of distrust. We want to shift ourselves out of believing that we're being betrayed and knowing that we are, right? Knowing that we are, and we want to transform it. We want to be able to take it, and if we have this version of Pluto, we also have this version, which is we want to understand that that's what's going on, and then we want to transform and shift it. Because if you go to the Ooso Xan, this is the same card. We did this last week. Again, we're transforming ourselves into something different by using our light. We transform it. We use our water, our emotions. We use our light and our vibrations and our self-knowledge to sort of get to something that's really different than what we've done before. Does that make sense? This is a huge opportunity that we're looking at. And I'm just shocked at what's possible and how it's all coming together. Okay, so Pam Young has just sort of, she's been growing year by year as she's been bringing us the solar flare energy in information. And she wrote something that I thought was absolutely crucial to read to you at this time. She said, here's some thoughts. I dare say that most of us in our humanness are finding it very hard to feel unconditional love for a specific person right now. That person who appears to embody the qualities and ideologies that we strongly dislike. But somewhere inside of me, a voice keeps saying, what if? What if my ability to love that other person unconditionally, to hold them in unconditional divine light and love, and do so with a true-hearted intention, is the missing piece of the puzzle? And then she finishes with, what if the universe is waiting for me to make this great spiritual shift? What if my ability to radiate love, and I love this one right here, the Ace of Hearts, to radiate love when I think of that person, it is the final weight that tips the balance, that sets the wheels in motion for manifesting a more loving, humane world. What if? Would I be willing then to overcome my resistance and finally be the expression of love that I long for in this world? When you read these words by her, you realize that we keep thinking that something external is going to come and save us. We keep thinking that something's going to change, or that the next political party is going to change and save our world. And what if it starts with us? What if it's us that does that? So I have 5 tips and how I'm going to walk you through that. And I think it's really important to play with these and sort of see what we want to do. And first, before we do that, I want to just mention that I started a Patreon page for those of you who haven't heard this yet. And for $11 a month, I do a discussion on Tuesdays at 10:30 in the morning for those in Europe and around the world, and at 5 p.m. So there's 2 discussions now on Tuesday through Zoom. And we also have, I'm recording a ad-free video at the same time so that we can have, for those of you who don't have premium on YouTube, don't have to worry about the ads. Please head over to my Patreon or go on over to Acuity and sign up for that discussion group. I think it's really fun, and it's been growing and it's been getting juicier and juicier. So I'd love to have you come and do that with us. So that was my little plug. Okay, so tips, big tips. All right, number one, create space today and each day this week to spend time expanding your chest, right? Expanding your chest and putting love out there. Putting love out there and letting it radiate out of you. Now, I have these other two cards that are sort of interesting. This is the King of Swords, or within the thought deck, he's called the Knight of Swords. He is flying over the water. He is passionately, emotionally going right at something, and he's got the balance of the masculine, feminine. He's got all of the elements working with him, and he is just on it, and he's going after the goal. And the goal is to be, and this is within, this is another tarot deck that I have. He's very laser focused on what it is he wants to do. So let's laser focus on the fact that we want to hold love. We want to put love out there. We don't want to wait until it feels clear, like, I'll know when it's time. What we want to do is we want to bust it open. We want to say that I have the power. I have the flash of light. I have the ability to just bust all of this open and put light into all of the corners of you, of your world, of your wounds, of your hurts, of your betrayals. And let love lead. Let your own heart vibrate with this intense. Be as powerful and as intense and lasered at putting love out there as you possibly can. That power of light is the flash. If all of us do that today, tomorrow, November 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, as we go through all this and just keep putting that flash out, what if we're the flash that we've been afraid of that's coming? What if it's just an abundance or a shift in light, right? What if it's the shift in light that just turns everything back into grace and peace again? Okay, that's number one. So create time and space this week. Number two, release your old mental programming in your head, that that voice that you hear, and when it comes up, just sort of brush it aside, like, no, I am not listening to the controlled mind that I've been conditioned and programmed since I was a little girl, little boy to little kid, to understand that useless chatter, and find a place within you, within that person in front of you, the person on the screen, the person on the election results, the place, the thing that you can, and attach love to it. So release that old man. No, I can't. Just push it aside and open it up and send love to it. So watch this. So number two is watch the mental programming. Whoa, I didn't think that was going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had a friend of mine say, I'm going to be depressed and very upset at these election results. And I was like, that is your choice. Because what we can do is we can burst light and we can change something. Number three, be prepared for the US to have a huge burst of energy on the 5th, 6th, 7th. Maybe it's going to go all the way through January. Who the hell knows? As we come to terms with the hatreds, the finger pointing, the attachments, the nasty belief systems that we've been holding as we've been forced again and again and again to go to this divisiveness. If we drop that, if we go back to this love, if we go back to this burst of energy, right? Then what happens is that this burst is much bigger and much more capable of transforming this earth, transforming us as individuals, our family systems, our everything as we go into Thanksgiving, into the holidays, into 2025, right? Because we stand in courage, we stand in strength, we stand in wisdom, and we weave all of this together with love because we're masters and we've forgotten that we're masters. So let's do that. So just know that something big crescendo is coming in this next week. And if we stand and we hold this level of, just let it burst out, let it shift, let it transform everything, right? Number 4, hold truth and love and conviction. So we have this idea that we're going to hold love, right? We're going to hold truth and we're going to hold conviction, which is, or I like this guy better. You're going right after it, right? You're going to hold truth and love and conviction, and that you're the one who can shift all of the chaos that's going on in your body, in your energy system, in your pains, in your stories. You use your own knowledge over this last year, as we've been talking week after week, and go back and look at the videos, go back and review. What have I been learning? What have I been pulling? What have I been growing with over this last year? And harness it. Be the one who shifts. Be the one who aligns with love. And number 5, have compassion and have grace, right? Because when we have authority over our ability to hold love, to hold compassion, to hold our heart and to open it, what happens is we change everything. So hold compassion. So I hope that inspires you. I've been putting this together to sort of weave it and inspire. So if you have comments, if you have something that I missed that you'd like to add, please put it in the comments below. Would love to hear from you, and like and share this and pass it around and get that love out there. And I will see you on Tuesday if you come to discussion. If not, I'll see you next week. You take care.